recorded, as I already just said. And please hang up if you are driving. As you all know, safety is the first priority for Cargill. Kindly use mute if you are in a area with background noise. And you can ask your question or comments via Teams chat at the right of your screen, or just picking up if you really need to say something. And also, for convenience of our speakers, please don't take control of slides. This is a special button on our screen. And now let's have a look at our agenda. We divided our seminar into two main parts. The first one about what are we talking about when referring to photogenics. The second part about the phytogenics benefits on liver support. And we will detail information about liver neomeryal solution, and we'll also share our testimony videos. And at the end of the webinar, we'll have time for questions and answers. And on this slide, you can see all our speakers, and we are happy to welcome new ones with us for this session. So a warm welcome to Yann, who deals with technology deployment lead, and also to Gilles, our phytogenics expert. Then I think you already know our category manager of additives, Beatrice, who helps us a lot with technical support for our liquids range. And to finish, Virginie will conclude this Neolait Poultry Academy with her closing speech. But for now, I let Yann to say a couple of words to introduce our webinar. Yann, good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Yann. I'm based in France, and I'm part of the Cargill Health technology team. I'm in charge of the deployment on the technical standpoint of our additives with our local teams, but also with our partner customers. I want to thank you all really for being here with us today. And I will very briefly introduce this symposium with a short focus on liver health and the reason why it's so important to maintain an optimal liver health all along the career of our animals. Why is liver health so important? Well, we ask a lot to the livers of our animals. In the upper part of this slide, you can see that a small liver of 55 grams will see a very large amount of nutrients ingested by our layers along their 56 weeks career. You have here example, almost 8 kilograms of proteins, almost 3 kilograms of lipids. All these nutrients ingested by the birds are going through the liver, a small liver around 55 grams, and all these nutrients are transformed by the liver into roughly 20 kilograms of eggs. So we ask a lot to the liver of our animals, which acts like a platform to allocate the nutrients to egg production. And a key notion here is resource allocation. Why is it so key? You can see on the two small charts on the downside of this slide that a healthy bird with a average feed intake of 115 grams will allocate roughly 70% of the nutrients into production. What we mean by production, the green area, it's basically egg mass, either egg number, egg weight. The rest of the nutrients are allocated to health of the animals, so antibodies production, pathogen mitigation investments, and finally to maintenance of the body temperature and of the feathering of the animal. But when the bird is sick, when it suffers, for example, from a steatosis, a fatty liver syndrome, then the bird will allocate less resources to productions. It means less eggs, less egg mass, and less income for the producer. Why the bird will allocate less resource to production? because it needs more resource to allocate to health, so more antibody titers, more anti-inflammatory cytokines. And of course, it also means that the bird will allocate less nutrients into maintenance. It means poor feathering. It means higher susceptibility of the animal to suffer from a pathogen outbreak. So in a nutshell, we need to take care about the liver of our animals and to maximize their chances to produce their genetic potential, roughly 20 kg of eggs, by protecting the livers of our animals with additives, but also with nutritional adaptations. And here with the Neolait team, you have the right team of experts to help you to drive the career of your animals. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you all a very good and productive symposium.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jan. And now let's start our first part and more precisely about what are phytogenics. Gilles, good morning.
Thank you, Virginie, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the audience. I'm very happy to be there with you today to discuss about phytogenics. And with a couple of slides, I'm going to take you through the phytogenics to better know this very powerful universe. And together we will review some definitions, talk about quality, formulation, and also have a look at a very recent in vitro study Cargill carried out. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, planticide, what are we talking about here? We will take this example of oregano, which is an aromatic plant. And we can see from this plant that we can get different end products. The whole plant, if it's grained and dried, is a powder. And this plant, this powder form represents the totem of the plant, which means it contains all the molecules inside. But then we can ask about the digestibility of this. So if you go to with maceration, you get a tincture, which is an extract, liquid or dry. And then this is a way with a selected solvent, that the way to get the molecules that dilute in this solvent, depending on their polarity. So you are able there to choose really the molecules you are looking for. And as it is a aromatic plant, you can also, with the hydrodistillation, get what we call essential oil. The essential oil is 100% made of aromatic molecules, and this is soluble in oil. This is what we call aromatherapy. And you can also find on the market, you can see the synthetic, find synthetic molecules that are natural identical produced by the industry. Next slide, please. What is also really important when we talk about phytogenics is the variability and the differences you can have even if you talk about one plant. This is the case with, for example, thyme, for which you have 7 chemotypes. So when you talk about thyme, you really need to know which one you are working with, because as you can see on the slide, the molecules inside can very differ a lot from a chemotype to another. And so with this example of thyme, we see you have different effects depending on the chemotype, but also effect like antibacterial or antalgic, antispasmodic. But also these effects will depend on the region, on the variety, on the season and weather conditions as well. We can move to the next slide. It can
It takes time. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, because on my screen it's already next slide.
It's already okay. So it's coming. Yeah. I will make the transition. So what is also very important with phytogenics to get the expertise is quality and knowledge. So you have to make sure you have the best quality of your herbs. So here you see Cargill has got a dedicated facility which is located in France, where we mix both liquid and powder plant extracts and put them and mix them with carriers. So the carriers are clay or silica, and we are able also to get liquid products to be put in the drinking water. So if you can move to the next slide.
Yeah, sorry, it takes a bit of time.
So, and this dedicated facility, I did not mention, but we have a strict quality control on this dedicated production line. So with the highest cleaning principles to make sure the end product is of top quality and meets our quality standards. So now,
where is the post?
Now, what is really very important in this phytogenic universe is really to formulate with a strong knowledge of the plant extracts, and in particular the part of the plant, because you can have the flower, the root, the whole plant. What is also important is the amount of plant versus the solvent, what we call a plant solvent ratio. And of course, to know the effects of the active principles that make the extract. With that, we use modern analysis method like HPLC to get a better knowledge of these plant extracts and also to better characterize them. And these active molecules belong to several dozens of chemical groups. And in each chemical group, there are a lot of molecules with metabolic and pharmaceutical properties. And for your information, more than 60,000 phytomolecules so far have been identified. It gives you an idea of the complexity of the phyto universe. Thank you. So, what we have done in Cargill and Neolait was to create what we call a formulation matrix, where we cross the plant extracts with what we call targeted functions or even organs. And when there is an effect from a plant or part of the plant on a specific part of the body, then we are able to score from 5 to 1 this effect. So this is really key to get synergies and complementary effects. So this formulation matrix allows us to formulate and try to get synergies, avoid antagonism, and bring extra benefits from an health and welfare perspective. This matrix is constantly upgraded thanks to literature survey, but also with the feedback we have from experiments and also from our customers with the feed use. So now we move forward to the fundamentals of Cargill's phytogenic approach. So with phytogenics, they can have a direct effect on pathogens and parasites that we can see, for example, on the right side part of the slide. So they can be a good alternative to medication, and there we intend to protect the animal against those parasites and pathogens. But the phytogenics, they also have the power to stimulate organs at cell level. A good example is, for example, liver protection. And you can see that on the left side, when we call this stimulation. So liver drainage, feed intakes, this is really key to have a good performing animals. And in the middle, you have what we call modulation, sorry. So this modulation power, it means it stimulates when it's too low and decrease when it's too high. This is really key when you are talking about immunity, inflammation, blood flow, stress, and reproduction as well. So very important to know that. And if we move to the next slide, we will go now to this very performance study that Cargill ran this year to add physiological evidences of the efficiency of herbs and better understand their mode of action. So if we move to the next slide, we will see the objectives of this proof of concept of this trial. So first, it was to view sorry, you're a bit too ahead. So the objective was to view the physiological effect of plant extracts and better know that their mode of action. As this study is very high tech, so we had to partner with a third-party lab. And so the protocol was to use THP1 cells, so living cells, 24 hours of incubation with 9 plant extracts at 3 doses per plant extract. And we did that in basal conditions, but also in stress conditions using the LPS challenge model. LPS is a common endotoxin that you can find with major gram-negative pathogens like Salmonella and E. coli. So if we move to the next slide.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. This is the one. So the outcomes of this test was to get the messenger RNA analyzer. So the response of the genes of interest. We choose 2 very important. Sorry, you're moving too fast.
Yes.
If you can rewind a bit, thank you. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, this one is good. Thank you. So 2 pathways were chosen: antioxidant and anti-inflammation. Why? This is really because oxidation and inflammation are really 2 big issues coming from a lot of stress that the animal are encountering during their life cycle. So that's why we choose those pathways with, as you can see, several biomarkers for each. So here you can see, I would say, results we had. So for sake of time, we won't go into details. This slide shows you the numerous data we got showing the complexity of the plant extracts and on the selected genes. So on the left, you have basal conditions, and on the right, the same with LPS challenge, if you like. The white color for the box means it is neutral. There's no effect. And green is okay. This is a positive effect. So it can be due to the activation or stimulation of a positive gene, or the inhibition of, I would call it a negative gene for both inflammation and oxidation. So if we move to the next one, next slide. Yeah, thank you. We see that we got various answers from the different plant extracts, which means we can get the possibility to combine different modes of actions from plant extracts and at different relative concentrations. So this, I would say, highlights our approach, which is holistic. We select plant extracts with different modes of action to have effects at multiple levels of the cell. And by mixing plants, we can stimulate the good genes and inhibit the bad ones, so create synergy at the lowest cost. And if we go to the next slide. it will come soon, probably. Yeah, so this one, I would say, simply again to say that we are able to choose the plant extracts that really meets all the maximum positive responses to reduce pro-oxidant biomarkers and improve the anti-inflammatory biomarkers for an optimized efficiency. And I will conclude with the last slide of my presentation. So we have seen with this in vitro test that some plant extracts really have a strong antioxidant power in live condition, and also a very good capability to reduce inflammation, even at low concentrations. In basal condition, there was no detrimental effect, which is also very important. This is fully in line with literature. So this in vitro method is really ideal to prove that the phytogenic molecules can activate the gene expression, and that can result in a better functioning of organs that are key, like the liver. And this is a good opportunity to let the floor to Beatrice, who will speak now about this organ. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, Gilles, thank you very much for your first part. We have seen what we mean by photogenics expertise. I would like also to remind again to our participants that at the end of our webinar, you will have plenty of time for any questions. But for now, Beatrice, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Virginie. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So thanks, Gilles, also for sharing this knowledge and this Cargill expertise around phytogenics. So I'm very pleased to be part of this new Poultry Academy webinar today. It's not the first one on my side, so you already know me for some of you. And today the aim is to illustrate those phytogenics benefits on liver support. So first, I will remind and complete what Jan just shared on the introduction part around the importance of the liver. And then we will go for the next slide. We will go on some details on the composition of Neomeriol and explain how it supports the liver efficiency. At the end of the presentation, we will conclude by the best proof of performance of using Neomeriol through customer testimonial. So next slide, Virginie, please.
Yeah, it's coming.
No worries.
It takes a lot of time.
No, that's okay. And I think you can directly go to, because there is some animation, and to facilitate, yes, maybe you can go directly. So, and I will go through it. So it's very specific to poultry because you have to keep in mind that the liver is really important for the poultry. And it's really specific to this species because all the nutrients, as Jan said, are metabolized by the liver. So the poultry ability to best perform is really based on the liver performance. As the liver has four major functions. So the first one is the digestion, because liver is involved in digestion through the secretion of the bile salts. We will go further in more detail later on. The second function is around the metabolization of the nutrients, such as the protein, the vitamins. Liver is also the organ where the energy, the vitamins, and the trace elements are. So there is this role of storage, which is also important. And last but not least, the last function is the liver, which is involved in detoxification, which is definitely the topics of today. So if we go to the next slide. So as part of the natural aging process for poultry, the liver is getting old. That's normal process. So that means that the liver will not perform as well for older poultry than for or youngest one. So here you could see the visual and the physical sign of this liver getting old. And for example, the sign is a pale ridge that you see on the left side. You could also see sometimes some pale liver with some deposit on the abdominal fat, which is really different from a young red liver that you see on the right side. The next slide. So in order to evaluate the efficiency of the liver, we can follow a scoring methodology of the liver. So the score 1 is a normal young liver, dark red, so which is on the top left. Then you have the score 2, so score 1, which is on the top right, with a slightly bigger size of the liver, and the color turned to a pale red. On the bottom left, there is a score 2, which identify, we start to see a third lobe for the liver, and it's a little bit more extended, and the color turned to a pale brown color. And the last score is the score number 3, which is on the bottom right. You see the picture showing the liver which is getting yellow. You see clearly 3 lobes clearly identified, and the size of the liver it's much bigger. So next slide. So it's really critical now to understand what are the factors influencing the liver efficiency. And for that, the first factor is the production types. For example, if we took the example of layer, the cage production offers less space for the birds. So that means a lack of space means a lack of movement, so less opportunity to detoxify and to eliminate toxins. That's the first factor. The second factor is temperature. Here, there is this graph shows 3 curves. So the first curves you see in orange is the temperature over the year, and the 2 other curves show the results of 2 trials conducted and shows the percentage of the lipids. So this is the evolution of the fat in the liver composition over the year. And you clearly see that there is on summer period. So I mean, it has been conducted in European context, huh? But no, stop, Virginie.
Sorry,
so you clearly see here. So in European conditions, that means that summer is between June, July till end of August, and you clearly see here that over the summer period, the level of lipids is getting higher compared to winter season. Winter season is we are entering in winter season at the minute in Europe. So from November till February, let's say. So definitely the hot season and the warm temperature will affect the composition of the liver. So next slide, to share another factor influencing the liver efficiency. This is feed. So a corn-based formula means that a formula will contain a high level of starch and allow a level of lipotropic factor. So as a consequence, you see here that the percentage of fat and liver weight will be higher in a wheat-based formula. So rather than in a it will be higher in a corn weight, sorry, in a corn rather than in a wheat based formula. You see that clearly the percentage of fat is much lower, let's say, in the wheat-based diets. So that's the corn-based formula could also damage or could influence the efficiency of the liver. The second point in the feed is the high consumption. The high consumption will also affect the efficiency of the liver because all the nutrients, as I shared with you, go through the liver. So this is it will be this is the only way to metabolize all the nutrients correctly. So that means that if there is too much ingredient in too much feed intake, of course the liver will have to be more and more efficient, and has to perform has to better perform, let's say. So another factor on the bottom right is the mycotoxin potential contamination of the grain used for feed for the diets. So the mycotoxin are produced by fungi. And when there is a high moisture content of the grain, that could lead to a fungal growth, and that means that a potential toxin production. So on this picture, I know that it's very small, but you could see that there is a pale liver, and it's due to aflatoxin contamination. And below, a bright red and kind of hemorrhagic liver is due to fusarium toxicity. So definitely mycotoxin is also a potential factor that damage the liver performance. If we go to the next slide. So we were talking about different factors. We were talking about the diet, we were talking about the temperature, the production type. So all of those factors are responsible of less efficient liver, meaning a decrease of the performance. So that means FCR, so FCR is feed conversion ratio. So FCR increase, we clearly see a potential risk of fatty liver. So that means the body composition will change. So that's for all the species, for all the poultry species, both broiler and layer. Specifically, if we look down to a specific layer parts, the fatting shell and the more downgraded eggs also are sometimes a consequence of this less performing liver, and it can go up to mortality in some strong cases. But okay, let's move on, and we have listed all those factors that can affect the liver and the consequence of it. But now the question is how to prevent this less efficient liver. So definitely the objective is really first to slow down the poultry fattening. That's through the increase of the bile synthesis and removing also the triglyceride fat from the liver. So that means the detoxification. So we need to improve the efficiency also of the liver there. So there is several ways to move on that, right? And you can go further, Virginie.
Yeah.
So we can work, there is several tools to do so. So first we can work on the nutrition. We can reduce the level of corn in the diet. Okay, maybe some of you will tell me, but it's not possible because we have only corn in the diet. In this case, we have to work as a preventive action, and we have to think about the use of nutritional nutritional solution as a preventive action, and this is the case with Neomeriol. We highly recommend to work on prevention in Cargill and to use Neomeriol as a preventive solution. So let's go down now on more detail on what is Neomeriol, what does it contain, and how and when to position it. So Neomeriol is a really well-balanced mix of ingredients, selected really to target the liver supports and to support this liver around challenge condition. So first, it contains sorbitol. Sorbitol is a sugar, so it's really well known to be diuretic and laxative, but sorbitol also stimulates the production of bile salt. And the bile is really critical to eliminate the toxins. So this is the first ingredient. Second important ingredient is the choline. So choline will preserve the integrity of the liver cells, and how we do that is because through the phosphatidylcholine, which is particularly important for poultry in a growing phase and on the layer 1. This choline is a lipotropic agent and is also a methyl group donor. So it will help to detoxify and to remove the fat from the liver. A third ingredient is the magnesium. Magnesium is involved in activation of several enzymes. Then we also include in neomeriol 2 amino acids. And the first one, I think you can move on, Virginie.
Yeah, it is. So it takes time.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Don't worry. No, I can talk. I have a lot of things to say. So the first amino acid is the lysine. And here the lysine has a role to play in the integrity of the liver cells. So lysine is well known to be the precursor of carnitine. And we know that carnitine is really highly involved in the let's say metabolism of lipids and involved in the transport of those lipids out of the body, let's say, to detoxify the body from the lipids. The second amino acid is methionine, and methionine is a precursor of cysteine, which is well known to be laxative and also diuretic for poultry. And again, that's the aim is really to reinforce this lipotropic functions by exporting or promoting the export of the fat from the liver. Then the plant extracts that we include in neomeriol, which are the topics of today, are of course part of the solution of neomeriol for the detoxification purposes. So let's now move to the plant extract, including neomeriol, and particularly 2 of them that we will see on the next slide. Perfect. So 3 major characteristics for this blend. So in neomeriol, we have this high concentrated blend of artichoke and milk Swisser. So both plant extracts are choleretic, cholagogue, and lipotropic. So that means that so for the 2 first ones, so for choleretic and for cholagogue purposes, let's say, that means that we want to increase the bile output from the liver, and we also want to facilitate by using those 2 plants. We want to facilitate the bile flow. And both actions, so increase the bile output and facilitate the bile flow, will lead to an increase of the bile yield. And the bile acid, which are the main constituent of the bile, so these bile acids are produced in the liver. They are excreted in the gut, where they play different biological roles. So the aim is to enhance the fat digestibility by natural emulsification. We also want to activate lipase, so an enzyme, to improve the fat digestion. The aim also by using this plant extract is to break down the endotoxin in harmless substances that can be easily extracted from the body, and that will then do not damage the gut and the liver anymore. And we also want, by using this lipotropic plant extract, to protect and repair the liver from the different damage they could have faced, and thanks to specific pathways. So we want to evacuate all those lipids. Okay, thanks. And if we move to the next slide, if we go now more in details on each of those plant extracts, so we will start first on the milk swessel.
Yeah, it takes time, sorry.
So if we look now on the milk swessel, so the active molecules are silimarin and flavonoid. You see on flavonoids that are listed here on the bottom left. So the milk swessel has three main effects. The first one is the antioxidant capacity. So here the aim is to inhibit the production of free radicals. Also, what we call ROS is the reactive oxygen substance, which are damaging, let's say, which are damaging the liver and the cells, globally speaking. So the aim is really to inhibit those free radicals and also to activate the production of antioxidants, so such as the SOD, so super oxide dismutase, or also the glutathione peroxidase, and we really want to avoid the oxidation there. So the objective is clearly to decrease the oxidative stress. Then, if we go to the next, to the second function, or second, let's say, effect, the milk swessel is also really well known for these properties in terms of anti-inflammatory. So, meaning that we want to inhibit the pro-inflammatory molecule, and we want to stimulate the anti-inflammatory cytokine, which at the end leads to a decrease of the inflammation. On top of that, the milk swessel plays an important role on the liver support by protecting the liver membrane from the toxin and improving the stability of the liver cells membrane. So, and if we go now to the next slide with a specific focus on artichoke, we will go in more details on artichoke and the molecule which is silimarin and flavonoid. So this is an active molecule. So it's a same kind of effect as a milk swessel with antioxidant capabilities. So here we want to inhibit the nitric oxide production, and the aim is also to stimulate the production of antioxidant. We have also the liver support, like for milk swessel. What is different there on the artichoke is that we have a cholinergic and cholagogue effect. And that means that cholagogue, we want to facilitate the bile flow. We want to stimulate the bile synthesis, so to make sure that we are able to eliminate the toxins. And in terms of cholinergic, the meanings of cholinergic means that we want to increase the bile output from the liver by increasing the number of bile canals. So let's say that finally, the aim is to accelerate the fat digestibility and the liver detoxification. So as, let's say, a kind of takeaways here, both the blend of artichoke and milk swessel will provide combined effects on antioxidant, liver support, anti-inflammatory, and cholinergic benefits. That's what you need to keep in mind for this plant extract. Now, if we you know everything on neomariol now, so you have all the information on the key components. So how to and when to use it. So that's the next slide. So when to position the neomeriol. So there is two different position subject to the species. So in terms of broiler, it's during the feed transition. So we will see some example later on. And for layer, we recommend to use every 6 weeks starting peak of laying. The dose of use is really easy, 1 liter per 1,000 liter during 3 to 5 days. So easy to use and very dedicated positioning subject to the species, so broiler and layers. As on the practical side, I want to share with you a proposal of recommendation of use, let's say guidance of use over the life cycle. So it's on the next slide. So it's just a guidance. And it could be easily adapted to your local requirement, to your genetics, but the idea is on broiler to target the transition period. And for example, you could use neomeriol between the day 19 to day 21 and between day 29 to 31. So that's a guidance, let's say. And on the layer side, as I told you, that's the same, but the aim is really to focus on starting the peak of lay, sorry. And it's on this next slide. So 3 days every 6 weeks, starting the peak of lay, you can implement a neomeriol. So that's it for me. So thanks for your attention. And now I will leave the floor back to Virginie, who will share with you the best proof of performance through the customer experience.
Okay, thank you very much, Beatrice, for your very interesting presentation. And we have finished the technical part of our seminar. And I'm glad to present you our testimony videos. So just let me 5 minutes to...
Nous utilisons le néomériol en Suisse depuis très longtemps, principalement et presque exclusivement dans l'alimentation des poules pondeuses. Il est évident que tous les fabricants d'aliments vont ajouter à leur aliment des substances pour aider au support ou pour supporter la fonction du foie. Mais malgré tout, il y a des phases qui sont un peu plus pertinentes et où un support ou une adaptation supplémentaire est nécessaire. En particulier, nous l'utilisons dès la 40e semaine, c'est-à-dire vers la fin de la période de ponte. Et là, nous préconisons l'utilisation de néomériol la première fois à double dose et puis ensuite une fois par mois durant 5 jours. C'est plus une intervention lors de problèmes et lorsqu'il y a un problème, nous insistons tous les éleveurs, lorsqu'ils constatent un taux un peu plus élevé de morts, d'ouvrir les animaux morts et de regarder l'aspect du foie. On voit très bien lorsque le foie est touché et qu'il est un peu plus jaunâtre, jaune et pas rouge, rouge foncé, qu'il est sujet à un problème. Lorsque ce constat est fait, nous préconisons vraiment d'utiliser la première fois en cure, 5 jours à la suite, double dose. Ensuite seulement, on peut réduire le mois suivant à la dose normale de néomériol. Nous avons fait d'excellentes expériences avec le néomériol. Il nous aide principalement dans l'élevage et dans la production d'œufs, mais il arrive parfois aussi par intervention plus curative qu'il soit utilisé dans d'autres formes d'élevage de la volaille.
Hola, soy Sebastián Gamboa, médico veterinario zootecnista, coordinador de producción de la empresa Santa Anita Nápoles, empresa dedicada a la producción de huevos aquí en Colombia. Todos los días en las explotaciones avícolas tenemos grandes retos de cómo ser más productivos y rentables. Para cumplir estos retos nos vemos obligados a garantizar la salud de las aves y estar enfocados en la parte de la nutrición. Hemos tenido un gran soporte con los productos de Neolait aquí en Colombia bajo la distribución de Amerivet. Nos han brindado un gran apoyo para alcanzar estos objetivos. Tenemos varios programas establecidos. Uno de ellos es el Neomeriol y el Mixoligo. El Neomeriol lo utilizamos como hepatoprotector, ya que en inicio de producción las aves sufren un estrés metabólico grande y lo que queremos lograr es un hígado fuerte y saludable que nos permita así una producción excelente del huevo, una movilización de lípidos y de proteínas de la mejor manera para que esto se dé a cabo. En semana 60 tenemos otro programa que está enfocado a reducir la esteatosis hepática, ya que por la edad de las aves y por alimentos ricos en energía tendemos a tener un engrasamiento. Utilizamos el Neomeriol, que contiene cloruro de colina, como agente lipotrópico para movilizar esta grasa y para dar una mejor calidad pues, al hígado, y de esta manera tener una producción de huevos buena, que pueda haber una excelente movilización de lípidos y de proteínas hacia el huevo. Y aquí también entraría el mixoligo, el cual, teniendo un hígado en buenas condiciones, podríamos brindarle una cantidad de minerales, los cuales requieren las aves diariamente y van perdiendo con el tiempo. Son experiencias que queremos compartir como empresa, como un agradecimiento a Merivet por su apoyo estos años, y queremos compartir esto con otros productores a los cuales les puede servir esta experiencia y los puede ayudar a de pronto ser más productivos y más rentables en cualquier explotación a la que se dedique.
So I hope you enjoyed our videos, and now I hand over to our Export Development Director, Virginie, who will be glad to say closing speech. So welcome, Virginie.
Thank you. So thank you everybody for attending this new Neolait Poultry Academy. It has become a very good habit over the last few years, and it's always a pleasure for us to have you all around the virtual table of the Neolait family and discuss one of our blockbusters together, that is Neomeriol, and share our successes together. So today I got two main messages for this conclusion. One is on the webinar itself, and one is about Neolait more globally. So about the webinar, so we got really very interesting technical information. Thank you so much, Gilles and Beatrice, for the presentation. And thank you, Virginie, for organizing this great webinar once again. So our focus today was the liver. It's a key organ, maybe one of the most important that needs to be healthy and properly taken care of if we wish to have performance in poultry farms. And actually, we called our webinar Detox Cure for fun. But talking about detox is already actually a bit too late, because it could be almost wrong, because it means if we need to detoxify, it is too late, because the toxification had already happened. And actually, in Neolait, as you know, our approach is different. We prefer to bring all chances from the beginning to have healthy liver with a proper feed, balanced formulation, relevant nutrition. And Neomeriol helps in that matter. So it's really prevention. It's about a solid formula that has proven its strong effects, and it's better to use it in prevention for full efficacy. us to make the most of the product and for the birds to better follow the feeding program that Beatrice showed you. We should give Neomariol at the right times in prevention. But actually, I think most of you already know very well the product. You've been using for decades. We've been improving the formula even recently. And those of you who don't know this great product, I really recommend that you reach out to your export manager and you test it. So that was about the webinar. I wanted to say a few words about Neolait as well. So you must have noticed that over the last few weeks, months, quite a lot has changed. We've got a new logo. We've got a new company video that we put in the chat and that you saw at the beginning. We've got a lot of projects going on, and we really want you to be part of it as you belong to Neolait family. So please don't hesitate to contact us, to share your ideas for Neolait, to share your ideas for future webinars, for new products that you wish to have, to share about the competition, what is happening on your market. Please let us know, give us some feedback, anything. We are happy to know what you think would be relevant for the future of Neolait. We are always happy to hear from you. So this is what I wanted to tell you. So I think some of you will meet next week at a Eurotier exhibition. Neolait will be on the stand of Cargill, so we'll have a booth on Cargill stand. So we would be happy to welcome you and to offer you some vegetable juices of DETOX cure. In a kind reminder of this webinar. So please come and visit us next week in Eurotier on Cargill stand. We'll all be there waiting for you. So now, thank you again, and we can start the Q&A session. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Virginie. And we are close to the end of our workshop, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions. So please feel free to ask any kind of question and don't be shy. So now it's your turn.
Good morning. This is Dr. Ishan Veerasinghe from Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. So I would like to know that you recommend the dosage for fatty liver in cases double dose for 5 days for how many hours per day?
Yeah, I take this one, I think. So I just reply on the chat, but sorry, I was a bit late. I saw you. No, that's fine. I will repeat for everybody. So our recommendation is to use it continuously over the day, but that makes more sense for you, or it's more practical due to the size of the. Due to your own setup of water system, you could also use it only for 8 to 12 hours. So it's really depending on how your system is set up. Let's say the water system is set up. But that mainly both it can be really flexible there.
Yeah, thank you.
I see a question on the regulatory part. So that's a complementary feed, definitely, to answer your question, Jeanette. So that's follow the EU regulation also. So that's a point.
You have a question from Dr. Supoj from Thailand. Do you have the dosage in milliliter per kg of body weight for 4 to 8 hours drinking water per day for 3 to 5 days instead of 1 for 3 to 5 days?
We have not calculated per body weight, but this is something we can do afterwards if that's more. If that makes more sense for you. Usually, it's because it's used not in feed, but it's used through drinking water. So maybe I've been, I don't know if you are already familiar with this product, but as it's used through drinking water, that makes more sense to have a dose per 1,000 liter. But if that's a request on your side, we can look at that. It depends if when you want to position it, or I will need more information around your specific requirement, local requirement in terms of the local condition you have. Maybe we can take this outside this call to have further investigation on your local requirement and what could be done, if that makes sense.
Any other questions?
We have a question from Sarah. Would you ask about the shelf life of the product?
So Virginie, I don't know if this.
Yes, thank you, Sarah.
Oman, I think.
Yes, yes. So the shelf life is 24 months of Neomarial. As you know, it's a good topic. Thank you, Sarah, for bringing it up about expiry. So yes, Dr. Morgan, we saw that you need to talk. We will definitely give you the speech after. So about expiry, I think it's a good topic to discuss. You know, in Cargill, it is extremely important to have stability and proven stability, and that what we guarantee on the label. It means that if we say that there is a level of ingredients, it should be true even after 18 months or 24 months. So right now there are big projects going on, and we've been discussing with some of you regularly about this expiry. We are studying the products, all of them, and making sure that what we say on the label is true at the end of the expiry. So there is a project right now. Neomarial is 24 months. It is part of the project to study even Neomarial. Maybe at some point, if we think we need to decrease a bit the expiry, we will inform you. But right now it is 24 months. Dr. Morgan?
Yes.
Would you, I see you're talking. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Very good, and you?
Yes, but I wanted to ask if I can use the Neomarial liquid for camel and
For
for
camel.
cattle also.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah.
What is recommended dose, and if I have increase in the liver enzymes, what is the course and what is the duration, and I can use the product as a plain or must mix with water.
Tabi, kuya, tabi, may motor, tabi. Come on.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan from the Emirates. Thank you for your questions, Dr. Morgan. And it is, sorry, can somebody? And it is very good that you asked. Yeah. Thank you for Dr. Morgan for asking this question. And I think it's really good because actually Neomarial can be used for ruminant as well. So we wanted to keep the focus on poultry for this webinar, but we use also Neomarial, and we can use even more Neomarial in ruminant more globally. So it's great that you talk about it, because it's definitely something we can do, and we can even provide some, especially in countries where the product is already registered and it's easy just to duplicate the use in ruminants. We can provide you with information. So I think Adrien, that was something you said recently about ruminants. Would you like to have a few words?
Yes, thank you, Virginie. So it's true that actually I mean, we focus here on the liver of poultry, but many other animals can has also a liver and face the same issues. So as you mentioned, we have a ruminant, but also swine can also be a species target, and even some fishes. So it's really a broad product that can be used in many countries, and as Gilles has demonstrated, it works at the cell level. So all animals with a liver can have a good positive effect using Neomeriol.
Great. Thank you, Adrien. We've got Dr. Havid asking about pH level. I think it could be good to do again the webinar.
Yeah, I was thinking about
quality.
the water quality webinar. Yeah. So the ideal pH for birds is between 5.5 to 6.5. So that's the ideal for. I mean, that's the ideal pH that you need to tackle. Let's say to have to achieve the best. The best efficiency of the product. So it's due to the gut, as I remember, but maybe this is something we could refresh on the newsletter or something like that later on the importance of the water quality. And you also ask if we can combine the use of Neomeriol with so acidifier. I mean that suppose we highly recommend to stop the use of Neomeriol when you clean, if it's for to acidify to clean the water system. We clearly recommend to stop to use to avoid any interaction between both products, or to say that one of your product could not work as best as they should. So we highly recommend to stop the use. I hope it answers your question.
Do you have any more questions, Dr. Morgan? You wanted to say something else, or is it just a mistake in your?
No, I am good, and I get my point.
Great, thank you, Dr. Morgan.
And I am so sorry for asking about other animals.
I think we have some network issue with Dr. Morgan. Don't hesitate to write if you have some more questions and send me an email or WhatsApp. We can't hear you. The tolerance of water harness. Good one. Hey, Beatrice, can you take it about water harness, please?
You're in mute.
You're in mute, yeah.
So, sorry, I was on mute. Apologize. So the target for hardness is between 10 to 15 degrees. You are referring to some ppm. Something I don't. I'm more. I am more target. Let's say used to talk about in degrees, but something I can look at specifically for this one. But the aim is, if you are familiar with the degree Fahrenheit, we aim to tackle 10 to 15 with the water harness when you use to have let's say a proper good quality of water. This is the topic.
I think we've got quite some good questions. Thank you so much for the dynamic. So we've got the meeting that was recorded. We will send you the link on YouTube so you can see it again, or send it to your colleagues who could not attend. And maybe Virginie, you want to give few words for closing?
Yes, I just wanted to thank everybody here today to attend this webinar about Neomeriol. And thanks for your time, and thanks for everything. And we are always here to answer your question and to listen your ideas. So
Great.
don't hesitate to contact us at any time, sorry.
Thank you,
So
Virginie.
if we don't have any more questions, and if you have some question later on, don't hesitate to come back to us. But for now, we wish you a good day and see you very soon.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
very
Bye-bye.
much,
Bye-bye.
in the
Thanks.
webinar. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Anne.
Bye. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Virginie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye-bye.